So we will discuss the Four Noble Truths, which is one of the great teachings of Gautama Siddhartha the Buddha. We will discuss Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths is like the foundation, one of the solid teachings of Buddhism, that life has a lot of suffering in it. This was the first noble truth, great observation of Gautama Siddhartha the Buddha. Life has suffering, tremendous suffering in it. And that this suffering is caused by human beings having so many desires, so many complex desires, all sorts of desires. This is the cause. This was called the second noble truth. And then, because human beings are intelligent beings, human beings have some wonderful ways of solving problems again and again. We had a lot of good news on the third one. The desires of human beings can be controlled, the Buddha observed. And then the final noble truth, the Buddha proposed some 8 right formulas for trying to attain this control, self-control, which would of course reduce your suffering. So the Buddha concentrated on life's suffering. Life is filled with suffering. Suffering is caused by human beings' insatiability. Human beings are never satisfied, no matter what you do. The Buddha says in the Dhammapada, I have authored the Dhammapada for more than 30 years. Since Boston, Massachusetts, I've been writing the Dhammapada. I've studied the Dhammapada intensely. In the Dhammapada, the 423 verses of the Dhammapada, the Buddha summarizes all his teachings. He really puts his teachings in what I call the golden nutshell. He really sort of summarizes everything beautifully in what is called the Dhammapada Sutra. 423 brilliant anthology verses where the Buddha has this crystal clear summary of the whole ideas of Buddhism. Buddhism is beautiful when you understand it. The Buddha goes to put everything in a nutshell that human beings can understand. What is life? Life is sweet, but it has a lot of suffering in it because human beings always have so much desires. From one desire to the next desire, to the next desire, to the next desire. The desires are so complicated that human beings are never satisfied. It is impossible for human beings to be satisfied. Insatiability. And then he observes, but because we're intelligent beings, we can actually control these desires. And then he suggests meditation. Okay, if we practice more meditation, more yoga, more self-discipline, and some right paths, he has 8 right proposals on the 4th one, how human beings will be able to finally resolve suffering, the problem of suffering. So the 4 noble truths is the foundation, solid foundation of Buddha's teachings, which we call Buddhism. And I'm going to analyze craving. I'm so interested in craving, the desires, because this sort of is the problem that human beings face. The desires, continuously desiring things, our desires never end because we have to be created by a father and mother, parents. The desire of a man for a woman creates human existence. And so you see, right from the beginning, this candle flame has been set ablaze. A man has to desire a woman to create children. So there's the desires. So our desires are always born. We always have desires, endless desires, because we inherit it from our parents, and they inherit it from their parents, and it continues on and on. So this is what the Buddha calls samsara, the endless cycle of desiring, endless cycle of rebirth. So I'm going to tackle, or go straight to try to bring to clarity one of the great problems of humanity called craving, which is intense desires. So much desires, desires and desires and desires when it has, it escalates, and we don't have enough quality to be able to control it, enough understanding, enough knowledge, wisdom to be able to control it. This is what is called craving. It's a huge problem of humanity. Actually, it's the greatest problem of humanity, craving. Human beings never stop desiring, causes a lot of problems. It escalates to so many other things. So let's try to look at craving. I decided to make a special observation of craving from great Buddhist masters' instructions. Craving is observed as the deep-seated desire that all living beings have for the pleasures of the senses. We love to please our senses. We want to be happy. And for life itself. For instance, people always seek to enjoy good food, entertainment, and pleasant company. Yet none of these can give them complete and lasting satisfaction. After the fine meal has been eaten, the beautiful music heard, and the pleasant company shared, one would like to enjoy these pleasures again and again and again and again. And for as long as possible. We never stop wanting. We never know where to stop. We want, the more pleasures we have, the more pleasures we want. That's a huge problem, as the Buddha observed. People who desire to own many things also can never be fully satisfied too. Like children in a toy shop, they crave all the attractive things they see around them. But like children, they soon become dissatisfied with what they already have and desire more. Sometimes they can hardly eat or sleep until they get what they want. Yet when they succeed in getting what they want, they may still find their happiness short-lived. Many will be too worried for the safety and condition of their new possessions to enjoy it. Then when the object they possess eventually breaks into pieces and has to be thrown away, they will suffer its loss even more. When we have obtained something we desire, we may want more and more of it. And so greed arises when we get what we want. Now we want more and more and more of it. So we become greedy. Greed arises. Because of desire and greed, people will lie, cheat, and steal to get what they want. Uncontrolled desires can also lead to addiction, for example, to smoking, drinking, and overeating, all of which lead to suffering and cause mental and physical harm. If another person prevents one from getting what is desired, Buddha has observed, one may feel anger towards that person. Desire, when obstructed, can lead to ill will and anger. This in turn can lead to harsh words, violent quarrels, and even fights or killings. All this is suffering. This is the great observation of Buddhas of the past. Now, our job is to sort of, as the Buddha instructs in the Dhammapada, we need to meditate in Buddhism. Okay? The greatest teaching that the Buddha leaves for us is meditation. We should practice meditation, concentration and meditation. And the themes I just read out, this summary of craving, the great problem of humanity, is a food for thought. It's something we need to meditate upon. I'm going to add a clip of it to this video. We need to practice meditation. We need to meditate upon, the desires, craving, lust, hankering, greed. These are the qualities. We lust after things. We desire things. We crave these things. The Buddha says, like children in the toy shop, when you bring the teddy bears and the little toys, the tractors, these little trains and little attractive toys for kids, balls and little things that attract little children. They crave these things. They play around with them and they desire them and they fool around with them and they excite themselves. They have all these toys in the toy shop. After which they start maybe struggling over them. They start fighting over them, throwing them around. If you go to kindergarten school, you really see kids, doing all these things, and then they start crying after a while. So that's what the Buddha says. We're just like these kids, and we desire all these things. We want more and more. All the material things of the world, we turn them into attractive things. We create attractive things out of them, and then we become stupid like little children. We begin to crave after these things. We begin to lust after these material things without control. We fight over them, we crave them, we lust after them, we are greedy because of them. This is what the Buddha observed. So for Buddhists, he needs them to understand this underlying factor, this craving, understand, have a thorough understanding of it, and then come to concentration and meditation. Concentration on the Buddha and the Buddha's enlightenment. When we concentrate on the Buddha and the Buddha's enlightenment, we now begin to become enlightened ourselves. We now begin to really understand what craving is. And then we begin to understand how we need to bring ourselves under control so that we are not carried away by craving. We are not carried away by greed. We are not carried away by lust and desire. We should be able to control these things like the Buddha did. So concentration is very important, which the Buddha calls mindfulness. These are solutions for this great universal problem called desire or craving. So desire, craving, hankering, lust. The Buddha proposes that we come to calm. We come to mindfulness of the Buddha. We come to meditation. We come to concentration. If we are able to come to concentration and mindfulness of the Buddha, and we concentrate and we focus our minds, we will be able to penetrate this desire, and we'll be able to get understanding. And once we're able to understand it, we'll be able to manage it. We need to be able to manage our desires. We need to be able to control our desires. If we can manage our desires, we can control our desires, we'll come to calm, serenity, and peace. This is what the Buddha teaches us. Very important. So we have to practice meditation and concentrate on this. A word is enough for the wise.